But that was a good lesson for me, no? Yeah.
Okay, then 7th July, you tried the 113 Desert, but and they didn't have. How was this?
To me, that crisis was much bigger than this one.
Yeah.
And that came 1 week after.
Yes.
I mean, just a little bit of context. When I joined the 113, it was just like, I thought it would be a training event, because so much so that I got the invitation just a few days before. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go. And I was looking at my age category. I think they had to take down my age category and enlarged it, because there's just a few. So in my group, I think it was only 5 people. It's like a very small group. But I thought, okay, this is the place for me to train, especially for my run. And obviously, where there's a big screw up, and for my side, and I take full responsibility for it, was during the bike. Just let me explain a little bit of context. For the 113 event, there were this exclusive category which only high schools can join, KTG or like what? Sorry, KYS, I think. But they use the same route, but a shorter one during the bike. And then there's the sprint or super sprint, the sprint, Olympic distance, and there's the 113. But everyone was using the same bike route, just slightly shorter. Obviously, there were not enough staff as well. My stupidity, again, this is where I own up to my stupidity. When I got out of the swim and I was going on the bike, so during the first turn, where I'm supposed to go straight, they closed down the entry where you're supposed to go straight. I know that's why I shared quite a number of photos that tanks were coming, because there's a military base nearby. And at the same time, I don't blame the volunteers, but I think at that point in time, maybe they thought I was from a different category, most likely the Olympic category. They said, no, you have to make a U-turn here. So that's why I made a U-turn, went back, and then during the second loop, that's where I saw there's someone who was with me in the same category, and just followed. That's why I went to the same. So I actually made 3 loops, but the first loop was shorter. But I remember something was amiss, and this is where I think I shared this in media as well. I sensed something was amiss, because when I got back quite fast in terms of timing. So immediately, and once you transition from bike to run, there will be the technical officers then. I remember there was these 2 guys on a motorbike. So I stopped there and said, can you please check? I said, no, not really, we'll check. Because you make the run quite a number of loops. Second round, I saw him, so macam mana dah check, dah, do not worry. So I thought, okay, at least like I'm in the green, there's no problem. So once we finished the run, the race, I didn't know that I was going on podium as well. But obviously then I realized that my category is only 5 people. And then checked again. Said no, everything is okay. So there was like 3 different checks. So I thought, okay, I'm in the green, there's no problem. Only much later did I realize that there was a problem. I think that's where someone shared on social media that there was a problem. So first thing I did was in my response to check Strava. And then Strava just shared the time, but it didn't show the breakdown. And at that point in time, I haven't used Sunto. I mean, I remember for the race, I used this Apple Watch. First thing I looked, I'm not sure anyone have tried using Apple Watch. Swimming is already like gone. It showed I didn't do a swim. It showed I only moved like for like 50 meters. It was just there. And then I had to get my friend again to break down because the Apple Watch, when they upload on Strava, it's like the total timing for everything. So how much did I actually do for the bike? They said, oh, for the bike you did 70 kilometers, 72, or I think about those kilometers. So I was like, Then I called the organizer. I said, can you please double check? I remember it was like late night or early morning then, because I already made my posting. And if this is the case, I'm definitely in the fault. And I remember telling the organizer, can you please find your technical team, the 2 guys. I remember it's technical team 1, technical team 2. They don't have a lot of technical teams, so definitely you will identify these 2 people. And that's why the next day, I think by then it was like 3 to 4 days after, they say, oh yeah, you did the 3 loops, but the first loop, you did a shorter loop. Oh my God. And I was like, I felt that my world was crumbling around me. So I had to own it up, because it was my mistake. People can say what they want about everything around me, but it is my duty to know. So yeah, that was actually the biggest crisis for me, which really made me rethink whether this sport is for me. I thought, oh my God, what the hell is going on? But once again, I say I'm hyper privileged because the community was exceptionally supportive. I mean, there were those who were very loud and very vocal against what happened. But I have to also understand, maybe they think from their viewpoint, I'm trying my best to understand where they come from. But I think those who also know me were super supportive as well. Said, Emma, just tune off,
go
for your training and prove them wrong later.
So were you? I mean, was that in the back of your mind as you continued the training and then you entered Langkawi? Like, you did that fire you up a bit?
Yeah.
Like,
so I can tell you that was the strongest firing point for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me tell you, because I can be a little bit petty, right?
Yeah.
And so then I don't like to delete comments, or I don't like to let my officers deal with it. I like to read it on my own. People say that's masochistic because it was very painful, right? I actually went through one by one, and there are those who say like, "Oh, you cheated, it's a problem." So actually, I didn't engage much with that because I understand where they are coming from. But there's also one who said like, "Oh, actually, all the races you did before were wrong as well. You know, like you can't even do this. You're very weak." And then I saw someone commenting, "Oh, I know he registered for the Man of Steel and Ironman. He's going to fail there as well." So I'm like, and I remember who these people were. That's how petty I was. I remember who these people were. I'm like, I'm going to see you. I'm going to beat you. Not beat physically, but you'll see me work hard to beat your timing.
Right.
So that's to me, that's a positive motivation.
Yes.
So yeah.
It's very human. I think we all have some of this. Okay, so let's move on. So 21st July, score marathon.
Yeah.
4:27.
Yeah. That was my first full marathon. I mean, I enjoyed it until the final 7 km, where I suffered a lot, and I walked during the final 3 km, which really took out a lot of time for me. But it was good preparation. It was my first marathon. I thought, oh, I can actually do it, you know.
Yeah.
But I realized again, my legs are not strong enough. So that's where again a lot more strength training.
Yep.
Yeah.
11 August, Man of Steel.
Yeah. I remember Man of Steel vividly. Forget all the bike failures, small parts, but it was where I really wanted to redeem myself.
Yes.
So I was like pushing all the way, especially as I got off the bike. I was actually quite slow until I got off the bike. I remember when I got off the bike, I was like way behind everyone else.
Yeah.
But I knew I could run then because I trained a lot in terms of my run, and then I was overtaking one by one. And I think I got a decent timing.
Yes.
But it was there where the petty side of me came out. You know, when I saw one by one of them were saying, I'm going to fail. Yeah, and in the end, I got like 2 hours ahead of them because of the run. But yeah, I mean, in the end, you know, even while I passed by that, actually, I still like, hello. And I didn't become petty to a point I want to look them down, but I just, in my mind internally, that willpower and the fire was burning in me, you know. Yeah, but I truly enjoyed the rain. And we were quite lucky it was raining. Oh my God.
Yes.
So lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to find our, whatever drives us, like wherever we can get a little piece of motivation or a little piece of drive to push harder, you know, that's what we tap into.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of this we don't share to the world, then some we can. But yeah, you did 9 hours, 2 minutes, and your run, 2:54 for the last 30K. I know it was slightly, I think, under distance, but still, I think you did sub 6 pace, which is, you know, very, very decent. Okay, 18 August, PJ you did a 30K run.
Oh, yes, PJ.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that was 1 week after I came back from the Ironman torture camp in Langkawi. I knew then I had to do a lot more hill training, and PJ 30 km run definitely filled that criteria.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed the run a lot. I think performed decently then. But that's also where I realized that even though I thought I did decently, there were a few, I think, professional runners who were like, they started later or they were in a different category. I think they were in the 21 km category. Like, my God, like while I was running, I thought I was fast. It was like, you know, and you can hear like, like, oh my God, look at their strides, their cadence. I was like, yeah, so, but this just realized that even though I felt I improved so much, but relative to the standards, I'm like way below everyone. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes, and you did 2:48 30K, and I assume that distance was correct. So very good. 7 September, Kota Baru, half marathon. Yeah, you did a 1:48.
Yeah, I think it was the first time where for a half marathon event I'm able to do a sub 2.
Yeah,
and that was at the top of my mind. It's quite lucky because the course was very flat all the way, and it was early in the morning, 4 a.m. So it was so cold. So the weather was perfect. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I thought that was the maximum I can do. 1:48 then. That's why I just kept on doing a lot of running events because I needed to improve on my run. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you did another half marathon, 29 September. Larian Keluarga.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cyberjaya.
Right.
Yeah.
143.
Yeah. That's where I realized that, because it was very cool. I think it was 1 week after or 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
And then I was doing a lot of like running, almost daily, and my strength training as well. If I push myself, I can do it. But I remember then it was slightly risky because I was in zone 5 all the way.
Right.
And my coach then was saying, you can't push yourself. The day before that, it was a Sunday. I remember the day before I did a 90-kilometer bike session and a 5 km brick session. The coach said, tomorrow is just treat it as your long run. Which, to be honest, I registered. That's why before Ironman, I registered 3 different races.
Yeah.
Back to back. So my mind was supposed to be a long race. But there's a problem with me. And people should know, the problem with me is I get quite competitive when I start. So when I start, the intention is right. Okay, don't push too hard. And I see a few of my friends who just bypass me. I'm like, you're not going to beat me. And then we race until the end. And I realized, oh God, I've lost my my goal. But in the end, I think in a way, we push each other to be better. So
yes, and a great PB, 143 and 455 pace.
Yeah.
Very, very solid. And then you said, you signed up for 3. So the last half marathon was the KL Standard Chartered.
Yeah.
You did the 146.
Yeah.
So you kind of established yourself around that 145, 148 mark.
Yeah. That was the final week before Ironman. Again, I think my coach was still very angry. That was supposed to be my long run.
Right.
But same problem happened. and KL's Standard Chart, I think it's the biggest sports event, like 40, 30,000 people joining. So I think after the first 5 kilometers, I realized, no, I have to push because I also wanted to, it's not necessarily only about beating my friends, but it's also about beating myself before. Because that was my first half marathon. So I thought, let's see whether, I can do, then I wanted to do just below 1 hour, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So I actually just wanted to beat myself before.
Yeah.
And I think I was able to do close to 50 minutes improvement from my previous form when I joined. So it was, that was when I knew, okay, I'm ready for Ironman. Yeah.
So you went then to Langkawi, feeling confident.
I was not that confident on the bike. Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I was at the Ironman torture camp, if you can ask anyone who's there, they will laugh a lot about me because I got lost all the time.
Okay.
Like one day I could get lost 3 times. So I was panicking in my mind, so much so that before Ironman Langkawi, there were a few videos on YouTube like showing someone cycling exact route.
Yeah.
And then going in their car, going in their bike. I watched each one of it. Because it was traumatizing for me when I missed the one long turn during the 113 event.
Yes.
It was super traumatizing.
Yes.
So I do not want to get lost, There were a few friends even like, don't worry, if you get lost, we'll know because there's this trekking van. I said, please, I do not want to get lost. And also, I think on the bike was when I was having my Ironman torture camp in Langkawi. Like my legs were so weak during the bike. It was so hot. Oh my God, it was scorching hot during the torture camp. So I thought, oh my God, can I even do this? And I can't imagine running a full marathon after.
Yeah.
So the good thing is, while I did a lot of running competitions in between Ironman, but I was on my indoor trainer a lot, a lot, almost every day. Because of the experience I had during the torture camp, I realized I was so weak, So I think that helped a lot.
Yeah. So you had wrecked the big hills for your bike? You had tried them?
Yep. Not only during the torture camp, but also just visualizing it when I look on all the videos on YouTube. Not just that, I arrived early.
Yeah.
Not just me, I brought my parents with me because we were in a car. We rented a car together.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I was able to scam that. I said, why don't we take this beautiful tour around Langkawi just to drive around? Little did they know, I just followed the cycling route tour. Went up data, okay, where do I go down? Where's the turn?
Yeah.
Which turn? Do I turn left, right?
Yeah.
I just needed to visualize it so that I don't panic during the day.
All right.
That definitely helped.
Then we get to the Race day.
Yeah.
Anything special for breakfast?
What did I have for breakfast? Actually, it's the same. I mean, I've until today, wherever I'm at, whether I'm in Johor, Parliament, or what, I have the same breakfast. I just take 4 Nestum packs, these small Nestum packs with a lot of honey.
Yep.
This big cup, and then coffee. So yeah, I think that was my breakfast.
Then you're ready.
Yeah.
So you arrive at T1 in the morning. It's it's a bit dark.
Yeah.
It's like this quite special feeling. There's a bit nervous tension. Everyone getting ready. How are you feeling?
I actually felt really good before the swim because little did I know that my swimming coach would be there as well, Coach Alan.
Okay.
So when he was there, and a few of my friends, they didn't join, but they were just there to show support.
Right.
So I was like, familiar faces, like, wow, very excited. And then the swimming part is where I felt a little bit confident then. I mean, not in terms of completing it fast, but I can do the 3.8 km. And I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah, the swim was amazing.
That reminds me, by the way, maybe if there are people watching who doesn't know what an Ironman is, please explain.
Yeah, so obviously we start off with a 3.8 kilometer swim in open sea. You don't swim on your own, you'll swim with hundreds of people who will obviously swim over you. So you have to get used to getting knocked over. One of the evil parts of swimming breaststroke is usually people don't want to come near you. While you are slow, but you kick hard, so people don't want to follow you. But I swim breaststroke all the way, which was very tiring on the legs, and I suffered a little bit on the bike. But I enjoyed the swim because I didn't go zigzag, and I could feel people following me behind me because they know that my sighting will be okay. So it's a 3.8 kilometer swim. After that, you transition to a 180 kilometer bike, which in Langkawi is painful, not only because of the weather, but the hills are daunting. And then after the 180 kilometer bike ride, you transition to a full marathon, 42 kilometers, which by then your legs will enter jelly mode and your brain will enter zombie mode.
Correct. That's a very good description, I think. So you came out of the water. I assume you were happy because, like you said, you had completed it. That was your goal. Then you get into transition and you get onto your bike. How did that start?
I think the bike start went quite well. So my aim then was to do 28 kilometers. Yeah. And after 90 kilometers, after going up Datai, going down Datai, going up the tree system, Mother-in-law, all this. So I remember I was looking at my bike com. I said, my average now was 28 kilometers. I was like, wow. And I still felt fresh. Yeah. So that's where I realized the training paid off. I was actually very happy. That's why some of my friends recorded when I went up the Mother-in-law the first round and then the second round. So first round I was like so happy. I could talk to them, I could high five. And then they saw me the second round. I was like, not only was there blood on my tri-suit, but I was like, so after I felt down at 115 kilometers. Right. And by then my bike com was out and then I do not know what happened to my watch. It was just like both of my devices were in disarray. So I was so disoriented. I lost track of time. I thought that when I fell down, I was down for more than an hour because everything seemed so slow then. Right. When I fell down, I had to wait for the medic to come, for the bike technician to come, and then the volunteers came. So it's quite slow. So I thought I lost so much time. So when I went up the Mother-in-law the second time, there were a few friends of mine. So I was panicking. I said, hey, can I still make it in time? Because I thought I will miss the cutoff point for the bike. Yes. And I was like, no, you still have a lot of time. So obviously they didn't tell me how much time. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll just make it just in time. Yeah. So I cycled so hard. And when I finished the bike course, and then there's a senior of mine, Sir Ramzo, and he was the one who told me exact timing. No, you actually have 8 hours or 9 hours to go. Yeah. So I'm like, huh? Really? So I didn't know this. That's why I realized, okay, thank God, at least I'll be able to complete it within the 17-hour timeline. Worst case. Yes.
Yeah, so you mentioned the crash, what happened, which has been shared a lot, but a tree fell in the road just in front of you. Yeah. And because of traffic, you had no choice but to basically go straight in. Yeah. Not
only there was a traffic on my right, because it was a 2-lane road, but only one lane going straight, other lane going against you. Yeah. So when the tree fell, so there's one rider next to me as well. Yeah. So I don't know how I'm going to push him to the side, what more when there was an incoming car. Yeah. So I was only able to brake a little bit, but then, I still had to hit the tree. I remember the feeling because it was so much pain because the tree, I do not know whether I'm just unlucky. The tree had thorns. It was very thorny.
Wow.
That's why there's like blood cuts here and there.
Yeah.
It's because it was very thorny. So to extract myself took a while because it was so painful because it just thorns all over my tri-suit. Because the volunteer came was super kind to take out the thorn one by one, and that took a little bit of time. But what I panicked more about, I remember then I entered survival mode, and I was so worried that either I broke a bone, or worse, my bike is gone.
Yeah.
If I broke a bone, if it's not critical, I'll find a way to just go ahead, But if my bike is destroyed, that's the DNF. There's no other way around it, right?
Yeah.
And when I extracted my bike out, the handlebar was like, one was up, one was down, the chain was completely gone. And I fell down to the right. So that means with the gears, I was so worried that you can't change your gear and by then it's DNF. So I was so happy and relieved when I found out that, okay, I just have to screw my aero bar properly and just correct my chain. But my gear was still functional, even though you can hear the but I knew, I can move forward. So I just told the medic to give me because they said there was a lot of bleeding, you have to take painkillers.
Okay.
So I said, give me the strongest painkiller. I'm just gonna forget what happened and just keep on moving forward. But then in my mind, I was just thinking, I cannot afford to DNF. Oh my God, I cannot afford to DNF. So yeah.
So you never considered pulling out. It was always
at that point it's like I need to find a way to continue. That's why my biggest worry is that if I lose my bike, there's not much which I can do. Yeah.
Okay, so you really powered on because you were worried about the cutoff times, and you got into T2. I mean, the best T2 in the world with air conditioning.
Yeah, that's true.
Seats, and then you realized that you have time.
Yeah.
What was your mentality then going onto the run? You still wanted to push, or you were just gonna save your way now into the finish? Or
one side of my body said push all the way. Another side said you do not want to suffer from cramps and then not complete the race. So it's a combination of both. Not to say I didn't push, I pushed. But at the same time, I think it was a little bit more conservative than my previous races when I was running. Because if I were to get serious cramps, I don't know why. Maybe it's a nutrition issue. When I felt a little bit of bloating. And even though my heart rate was really low, I remember I was running. So when I finished the whole race, I think my heart rate during the round was about 148, which is really low. And I felt I was going really slow, but I felt I couldn't breathe because of my stomach.
Okay.
So halfway through the run, I think after 15 km, I just ditched all the gels. I started eating bananas. And I was okay again.
Oh, okay.
I started eating bananas and just water instead of all the other isotonic drinks. So I think it's a combination of that. Being conservative so that you don't get cramps. But at the same time, not walking, and I made sure I didn't walk at all.
I think, obviously, you're, like you said, first Ironman, the main thing is to finish. After all. True. So I think it's a good strategy. I did see you on the run a couple of times, especially after it got dark.
You on the bike, remember that? I was in my zombie mode, but I remember it's like, oh, you can make it. I was like, oh, really? And I think after 20, 30 kilometers, you can reach your secret something. I'm like, in my mind, I was thinking, what is the secret achieve? I was
forgotten.
I'm so disoriented. I forgot what my secret goal was. It's like, oh, okay. So I just continued.
But for you, the airport road in Langkawi is infamous. It's dark and lonely. Everyone suffers alone there. What did you think about? What kept you going forward?
At that point in time, actually, I enjoyed the route. I enjoyed the solitude.
Okay.
Because I shared before, when you go through Chenang and there are a lot of friends and family members, first, I cannot afford. Just a little bit of disclaimer, I'm a mama's boy. I'm not ashamed to say that, but I cannot afford to see my mom cry. And my mom, when she sees then she will cry and then I will panic and then it's not good. That's one. But two, my friends were so amazing and were like, oh, and then I felt so bad I can't high-five them. And I can't respond. So I felt that I'm failing them. And I remember a few of them who I saw, I texted them personally after apologizing. I'm so sorry. That I cannot respond. But during the solitude run around the airport, which is dark, wow, and then especially during the final, I think 10, 15 kilometers, there are not a lot of people there, right? So very sparse. Actually, that's where it was just me and my mind, just thinking one step at a time, and you will complete it. So at that point in time, it's not about like doing sub this, sub that, it's just about completion.
Very nice. Then you did make it to the finish time, and you did break your secret target, which was 14 hours. You finished in 13 hours, 13 minutes and 39 seconds, which is a very good first Ironman. And especially, I think, with your bike crash on top of that. And this finished you sixth in your age group. And the fifth guy was only a few seconds ahead. So I would say it's fair to say that without the bike crash, you would have been fifth. But all that aside, you reach the finish chute, you hear you're an Ironman, and your parents are there to greet you. How was that?
That was the happiest moment. I think I can still vividly recall it. That's why everything became worth it. When you reach the finish line, it's not just about completing it, but in my mind, I remember during the final 2 km, when you're about to make the U-turn, the short turn around Chenang. And again, there were friends there, oh, this is your final 2 km. But in my mind, during that final 2 km, was already me celebrating my mind. Because I was like, oh my God, for 1 year, I mean, it's been torture, and me doubting myself, other people doubting me. And when they doubt me, I doubt myself, whether I can do it. And then, that went through my mind. I thought, oh, it was so sweet that finally I'm able to prove myself wrong, that I can do it. If I push myself, I can do it. And at the finish line, when I saw my parents, actually, I didn't expect to see my parents, because they were telling me that, I mean, you can only see your parents after. So I saw my parents, I felt like crying. So it was one of the happiest moments in my life.
All right. What do you remember what you said to each other?
First, I'll never forget. First thing I told my mom, when I hugged her and she put on the medal, I said, "Ma, you never raised me to become a quitter." I'll never forget that. And my mom cried as well. Because my mom is my source of inspiration. And she was the one who taught me, when there's a will, there's a way. Di mana ada kemahuan, di situ ada jalan.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Okay. So apart from the tree that fell in your way, anything that surprised you from the race experience? Anything you weren't prepared for?
I think I should have prepared a lot more on my nutritioning. I think I underestimated on that, and that's where, when I transitioned from the bike to the run, I suffered a little bit of stomach problems. I think that would have helped me improve. At the same time, even when the tree fell, whenever there's a problem, I want to say that I take full responsibility. I don't blame anyone else. That's why when I heard someone say, "Oh, this is the Langkawi authority, you should have cut this." No. In the end, I think if it was me and me being a lot more alert, I think I would. I don't think I'll have time to move that record. I know there was a bike next to me, but I think I'll be able to brake earlier.
Right.
But when you're in that mode, what more after 115 kilometers? You feel so comfortable, and you are in that TT position, or you're looking down. So I should have been a lot more alert. I was focusing so much not to get lost. In my mind, after everything happened, I was focusing so much to not get lost. Little did I expect that I will not get lost, but I'll hit the tree instead. So I think if there's anyone else who will be doing the Ironman, if you can plan everything. And at the same time, enjoy the process. One thing which I love about the journey throughout the 13 hours, 13 minutes, is that while I was being tortured physically, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's very weird to say it, but like, I enjoyed pushing myself. I enjoyed seeing friends around me, overtaking me or me overtaking them. I enjoyed every single second, no matter how painful it was.
Very good point. And for me, it's the best advice I ever got when I started out. That this one friend told me, because I was nervous for my first race as well, and said, remember when you're out there, remember to enjoy it. And I took that to heart, and I realized, and it stayed with me forever since, that we are so privileged to be able to do this, and to feel the nervousness and to feel the pain is actually a privilege. So very good. Next day, then you went to the Ironman World Championships roll down ceremony. You had finished in 6th. So there was obviously an outside chance you would get a slot. Were you prepared for that? Had you already decided if you get one, you'll take it, or did that come as a surprise?
to be very honest, and this is where I say I'm very privileged to have great friends in the community. You know, at first, I didn't even know that I would even be in contention to qualify. I didn't even know that they had this ceremony in the morning.
Okay.
The only reason why I was there is by sheer chance because I wanted to collect my bike and do a little bit of bike maintenance. The only reason. Then I saw, why is there a group of people there? So then Sir Amir Hamzah came over and said, hey, you should join us. I said, why? Oh, this is the closing down ceremony. So in my mind, typical closing down ceremony is just like speech and then bye-bye. I'm like, no, like, really? No, this is like you qualify for World Championships. Yeah? So I said, but I can't, and they said, no, but in your age category, you're like top 6, you have a chance.
Yeah.
So also I didn't know how you can qualify, what's the numbers, this and that. And then when he and a few others checked, I said, hey, you can actually qualify. I said, okay, never mind, let's just try and wait. Either way, at least I'm there to see a few of my friends who may qualify.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I thought, you must get like the first in each category will qualify. So I thought, okay, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Then I realized, there's like some is 3, some is 5.
Yeah.
So when my name was called, I was elated. Then I realized, oh my God, am I going to do this another year?
Yes.
Because you have to. It's great marketing for Ironman. You have to pay there and there, right? And then you have to commit immediately after. But that's why I realized immediately when I thought of committing and to make the payment, I also realized that is it worth it for the past 10 months of training? I thought I'm 110% because physically I feel better, mentally I feel better. Even when I do my work, I feel so refreshed. Back then when I wake up in the morning, I feel so lethargic and weak.
Yeah.
Back then I was so indisciplined. I never work out. I sleep late at night. Now I sleep early. I eat healthily. It has changed my life completely. So I thought myself, am I going to do this only for Ironman Langkawi? Hell no. I'm going to do this for a very long time. And now I have this like lifelong goal. I'll never ever to become a pro athlete, but I can plan for the next 40, 50 years. So my plan is I'll be the fittest Ironman by the time I turn 80. If I reach that age, I'll be the fittest when I turn 80. Yeah.
That's a really, really nice goal. Shorter term, so you have Nice, obviously, World Championships next year. Any other race plans? I mean, any more race plans this year? But how about next year? Have you had time to think about this already?
This week I'll start thinking about it for this year. Next year, I think I'm going to join as many as I can. Just so that the training continues. But at the same time, I also want to scam more friends to join as well. I scam a few and they've all joined. A lot of them registered. Some registered full straight. I don't know why.
Okay.
But I think it's to also build the community around me as well, because that's where you realize it becomes so much more worth it. When you have friends, because that's where you don't feel like it's a chore to work out, because that's where you socialize as well. And I think that improves it by like 90%.
Definitely.
So I hope many more Malaysians will join the triathlon community. Even if you don't aim to join the Ironman, but at least be part of the community and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's about healthy living, enjoy it, and it will revolutionize your life.
Very good. I think that's a good way to end a really nice talk. Thank you so much for coming here and joining.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me in your pain cave. This is a really, really nice pain cave. And you can see a beautiful view as well.
Thank you so much, and wish you all the best for your preps for next year.
Thank you. And all the best for Kona next year. I say both of you because it will be a collective effort. It's never an individual effort.
Definitely.